X, welcome to another video and welcome to a wrap up. I decided to join together September and October's reading wrap up instead of doing them separately, and I read a total of 13 books, like 13 and a half books in those 2 months. So I thought I would talk about them and give you guys my thoughts on them. So without further ado, let's start with the first book I read, which was Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is the second book in the Red Rising series, trilogy series, and I loved this book. I rated it 5 stars. I liked it better than the first book. I rated Red Rising 4.5 stars, and something about this one I just liked better, which I was kind of surprised because the first book is more of like, I guess an easy way to describe it is Hunger Games-esque, with like everyone fighting each other kind of and trying to survive until the end. And this one wasn't like that anymore because obviously they already did that in the first book. But yeah, this series is very brutal and you just really connect with the characters, and when things happen to some of them, which they do because it is so brutal, you just get extremely sad and heartbroken. And I did do a video reading this book and I cried at the end, as you can see in the video. It was so sad, and I have yet to read the next one in the series, which is called Morning Star. I have it, I just haven't read it yet. They do take a little bit longer to read and they do take more brain power to read because it is sci-fi. I'm not super used to reading sci-fi. I think this is only like the second ever sci-fi book I've read, so a little bit out of my comfort zone, but overall I really enjoyed it and I was never bored reading it. Then the next book I read was The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. This was my first book by her, and I definitely think I will read more by her. I really liked it. I think I rated this one, let me look, a 4.25 stars. Anything above a 4-star for me is really good. It wasn't really what I was expecting from what I had heard about it, I guess. It had been a while since I had heard a lot of hype about it because it is kind of more of like an OG book talk book that got super hyped and popular, and I finally read it. But this is like a fantasy about 6 very talented magicians that get chosen to go to this like secret society place where they kind of get to learn more about magic, and only 5 of them get to make it through to the end, and you're just following along with all their POVs. It is multiple POV and they all have like different powers and stuff, so it was really good. I think I stand by 4.25, maybe like a 4-star, because I kind of forgot about it and it doesn't super stick out in my head, but around there. So I definitely recommend it, and I will probably pick up the next one, which is called The Atlas Paradox, at some point. Then the next book I read was a very anticipated read for me, and I read it pretty soon after it was released, and that is The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the kind of 4th book in the series of the Inheritance games. All the same characters, same world, same everything, but instead of following the girl that's the main character in the other 3 books, Avery, you're following 2 of the brothers in this book, and these are like mysteries. This one, there wasn't really romance in. With the other ones, there's a subplot of romance. It's kind of already developed in this book, so there's not much of that. It's mostly just about the 2 brothers kind of doing their own thing and trying to solve their own kind of mysteries. And I rated this, it was a little bit disappointing. I rated it, I think, a 3.5 stars. So I still liked it. It was still fun, and I would definitely recommend it, but I definitely didn't like it as much as the original trilogy, and yeah, it was just a little bit of a letdown, but I still enjoyed it and would recommend it. That is, if you liked the original trilogy. I think if you didn't love that trilogy and weren't super excited to just read more about it and about the characters, then you probably won't like it. It's pretty long, it's pretty chunky for what it entailed. It's like over 400 pages, I'm pretty sure. And it was just kind of repetitive and not super exciting or plot twists or anything like that. So take that as you will. Then the next 3 books that I read, I will just talk about all together because it was a series. I read the Caraval trilogy, which is Caraval, Legendary, and Finale by Stephanie Garber. This series is definitely like one of my top favorite series that I've ever read. I'm absolutely in love with them. All of them, especially the last 2, but I really liked Caraval as well. Caraval I rated 4.5 stars, and Legendary and Finale I rated 5 stars. And these are fantasy romances about like this magical competition called Caraval. And these 2 sisters get tangled up in the world of Caraval and the game, and there's a lot at stake, and the magic in it is so magical. The magic in it is so magical, and the romance is beautiful, and I would just absolutely love to live in this world and experience Caraval, and I absolutely love Stephanie Garber's writing. So yeah, absolutely a 5-star series for me. I will never stop recommending these. I feel like they're not very like hyped, and I think they deserve to be more hyped. Her other series, the spin-off to this one, the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, I feel like is way more hyped and loved, but I loved these. I don't know how you couldn't, but that's just me. I do think that people tend to enjoy them more as they go on for some reason, which I did too, but I even loved the first one. So 5-star series. And then another super exciting read and another 5-star book that I read I think we're getting into October now, but either way, it doesn't really matter. I read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Again, this was in a video, so if you want to see my reactions to this book, then watch that. But this is a fantasy romantasy about dragons and a school for riding dragons, learning how to ride dragons. And the romance in it was like my favorite romance. I loved it so much. Xaden, the main guy, cannot get enough of him. And the next one in the series, which it's supposed to be like a 5-book series, and the next one called Iron Flame comes out in like 4 days from when I'm filming this video. 3 days? 3 days, I think. So I pre-ordered it, so I should be getting it soon, and I'm so excited to read it. If you like fantasy romance, this one was super easy to get into, not confusing at all. It jumps right into the story and the action. Oh, and then I'm kind of going out of order because I don't have them in person, because I either listened to them on audio or I borrowed it from my library. But I also read Truly Devious. Truly Devious is like, I think, a 3-book series, and they are mysteries about this girl that attends this school that doesn't have very many students, and they all have like some sort of, I guess, special thing about them. Talent maybe is the right word. And one of the students that's the main character is Stevie, and she goes to the school. She is obsessed with true crime, and there was a kidnapping/killing that happened at this school years before. And now when Stevie's at the school, she, 1, wants to solve that case that was never solved, and 2, a new murder happens while she's there that she's also trying to kind of solve. So I really liked it, actually, more than I thought. For just like a little YA mystery, I rated it 4.5 stars, and I definitely want to continue the series. I'll probably just get them all in my library because they're free, and maybe I'll buy them eventually. And then I listened on audiobook to A River Enchanted by Rebecca. There's too many Rebeccas. What's her name? Rebecca Ross. I've read a lot of books by Rebecca's lately, so they're all meshing together. But by Rebecca Ross, who also wrote Divine Rivals And overall, I did not absolutely love it. I think I rated it a 3.25 star. And it's like a cozy fantasy mystery kind of about there's like these two clans that are kind of enemies, and the main guy, Jack, is part of one of the clans, and little girls in his clan are starting to go missing. So you're trying to figure out who took them, what happened to them, and that's pretty much it. He joins up with this girl that he used to know, and they're all grown up now, and there's like a mini romance in it. Not very much at all, but yeah, it was just kind of boring and slow, but it was cozy, and because I listened to it, it was something to do while driving to and from work. So if I was reading it physically, I probably would have been even more bored and probably not finished it. I don't know. Maybe I would have, because I rarely DNF books, but yeah. Okay, back to physical books that I have. I next read a couple of witchy like romance books, and the first one being Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper, and I rated this a 3.5 stars. It was fun. It was cute. I didn't really connect with the romance too much. I think that because it's like barely 300 pages and it's easy to read, I still enjoyed my time reading it. It's about this girl that comes back to the town that she grew up in, which is home to a bunch of witches, and she comes back for this competition, this like magical witchy competition that 3 of the kind of founding families in the town always have someone in their family compete in it, and her family serves as like the people that oversee the competition. And when she's back, she kind of joins up with her best friend and one of the girls that she kind of knew long ago that she had a crush on, and they join up to basically get revenge on this guy that is just not a good guy, a player, and he's just kind of broken all 3 of their hearts over the years at different points in time. So they all are trying to get revenge on him while the competition is happening. So the competition part of it was cute, but again, the romance was okay, and it was cute and cozy for this season, but kind of forgettable, and I probably will never read it again. So 3.5 stars. Then another one I read was The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling, which is the second book in the X-Hex series, and I believe there's also going to be a 3rd book in it, which I don't know when it comes out, maybe next year, but I definitely want to read that. I really like this series. I rated both of these books 4 stars. The setting in this book is just so cute. I feel like I've talked about that in like every video that I've talked about this book in, but it's so true. It's like, reminds me of like Halloween Town, and it would just be like the perfect town to go visit for Halloween. There's like witchy shops, and this book follows this girl, Gwen Jones, and there is this family, the Penhallows, and there's like 3 brothers, and each book so far has followed a different brother. And so this one was about Wells Penhallow, and he comes back to the cute town I was talking about of Graves Glen for kind of a family reason, and he decides to open up like a magic witchy kind of store. And Gwen and her aunt, or her mom, aunt's or mom, I can't remember, her family also owned a store very similar to that, and so they kind of are competing in that sense and go head to head, and she already doesn't really like him from past experiences, but they end up kind of having to work together because a mysterious coven of witches comes to town, and kind of bad stuff starts happening in a way. So I loved the romance in it. I thought it was so cute. I keep saying the word cute, but it's just true with these books. That's just what they are. Cute little romances, cute little witchy romances, but really enjoyed it. Super fun and easy to read. And then I also read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, or something like that. And this was also a 4 stars for me. I, again, thought it was really cute. This one was so heartwarming, and the romance was more of a subplot in this book. It was more, I don't even know like what genre it is. Magical fiction romance, I don't know. But this little description here in the background is perfect, or in the back of the book is perfect, so I'm going to read that. A warm and uplifting novel about an isolated witch whose opportunity to embrace a quirky new family and a new love changes the course of her life. So the main character in it, Mika, has always been alone because she's a witch and there aren't very many witches where she lives. And they have to keep a very low profile. No one can know that they're witches, and they're not allowed to really like hang out together because of their powers. So she's always been alone. She never really can tell anyone that she's a witch, and she always has to like move around until one day she gets a message from this guy because she makes YouTube videos on pretending to be a witch to kind of get her fix of her world that she can't share with anyone. And he believes that she actually is, so he invites her to their house called the Nowhere House. And there are 3 young witches that live there, and they just don't know how to control their powers because they don't have any like older witches to kind of show them the ropes. So that's where she comes into play, and the relationship between her and the girls is just so cute, and she finally feels what it could be like to have a family. It was very cute. Again, the romance was more of a subplot, but it was also very heartwarming, and I definitely recommend it. And she is also coming out with another, not book in this series, but another like witchy book, and I really liked her writing and stuff, so I will probably be picking that up when it comes out. 2 more. The last physical book that I have is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This has been on my radar for like a long time, since I kind of started really reading again, which was like over a year ago, and I finally bought it and read it. So this is like a dark academia mystery, and it is past and present timeline, which I really enjoyed, and it's mainly one POV of one of these friends. There's this group of really good friends that met in college. There's 6 of them, and they were like inseparable, and now the present timeline is, I think, when they're like in their 30s maybe. It's like their 10-year reunion, I think. So the friends are all reuniting after like, for some of them, like 10 years really of not seeing each other. And when they were in college, one of the girls in their friend group was murdered, and it was never solved on who did it. So it, you know, goes back to the past, and you kind of learn secrets about each friend, and they all are kind of unlikable characters, I would say, yeah, but they're supposed to be. And I did really enjoy like the drama of it, and like learning their secrets, and just the things, some of the things that they did when they were younger to, you know, be liked and be popular. It was just ridiculous, but I ate it up. I really liked it. So 4.5 stars for this one. And then the very last book I read, I listened to an audiobook, and that is In the Company of Witches, which is, sorry, not funny. Like a mystery about a death that happens at this bed and breakfast that the main character and her aunts run, and her aunt becomes the prime suspect because of certain circumstances, and the main girl, can't remember her name, is trying to clear her aunt's name. I thought it was okay. It was cute and cozy, but I rated it 3.25 stars. And again, because it was an audiobook, I listened to it while driving to and from work, so it kept me entertained, but I probably would have liked it less if I was actually reading it physically. I was just kind of bored, and it was just kind of slow. But good cozy read if you like that kind of thing, and if you want like a fall witchy book. So those are the 13 books that I read in September and October, and my fall TBR was originally 18 books, and I think I read 11 of them, so pretty good. I'm also reading another one right now that was also on that list. So I think we made a good dent in it, and I'll probably, read some of the other ones just throughout the year, and if not, then I can always read them next fall. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!